Okay, let us start. ओके, तो काल आम्ही दुसरी बॅच होती, त्या बॅच मध्ये हा कोड घेतलेला आहे प्रॅक्टिस साठी. त्यांचा एक जो प्रोजेक्ट होता इन्शुरन्स प्राइसचा, तुम्हाला जो मी करा म्हणलो होतो, तुम्ही केला आहे का? त्यामधले कोड्स तुम्हाला कळाले आहेत का, काय आहेत हे? कोणते वाले नाही समजले? IS is null dot sum, is null not sum डॉट सम म्हणजे या सगळ्या कॉलम्स मध्ये कोणत्या कॉलम्स नल व्हॅल्यूज आहेत का? तर कोणत्याही कॉलम मध्ये नल व्हॅल्यूज नाही आहेत. हा, त्यानंतर डुप्लिकेटेड, तुम्हाला माहित आहे डुप्लिकेटेडचं मिनिंग काय आहे? तर मी डुप्लिकेटेड साठी मी चेक केले की या प्राइसला खरंच दोन व्हॅल्यू आहेत का, तर ह्या सेम दोन व्हॅल्यू मिळाल्या. त्यामुळे मग ते डुप्लिकेट व्हॅल्यू रिमूव्ह करून टाकली. ओके, देन इन्फो शेप, शेप माहित नाही? शेप किती रोज किती कॉलम्स आहेत? त्यानंतर नाही, चुकीची गोष्ट केली तुम्ही. नाही, कोड काय आहे ते समजला का तुम्हाला? काय कशाचा कोड आहे तो सांगा? कोणता वाला? हे युनिक वाला? युनिकच्या खालचा म्हणजे डिवायडिंग डेटा सेट. प्रिंट काय एवढं खास नाहीये, हे प्रिंट फक्त युनिक व्हॅल्यूज तो प्रिंट करतोय, त्यामध्ये नवीन गोष्ट काय नाहीये. हा, मी शॉर्टकट मध्ये लिहिलाय. हा, लॉंग कट मध्ये काय त्याच्यासमोर लिहिलंय कॅटेगरिकल व्हॅल्यूज इन सेक्स कॉलम, आणि त्याच्यासमोर जे काय त्याचे कॅटेगरीज आहेत ते लिहिलेत. त्यानंतर हा कोड कळाला आहे का तुम्हाला? हा, का केलाच नाहीये तुम्ही इथेपर्यंत? इथे बघा, मी जेव्हा एक कॉलम घेतो डीएफ ऑफ रिजन, तर रिजनचा डेटा टाइप काय येतोय? ऑब्जेक्ट. मग जर मी फक्त एक सिंगल कॉलम जरी चेक केला डीएफ ऑफ रिजन डॉट डेटा टाइप, तर तो काय शो करतो? कॅपिटल ओ, म्हणजे ऑब्जेक्ट. तर इथे कोड मी काय लिहिलेला आहे बघा, फॉर फीचर्स that means for I in df dot columns. Now df dot columns means all the column names. Where is column names? Look at here, below of this. Simple code of df dot columns. Df dot column means all the column names. Simple. For I, otherwise for features in df dot columns. I means features means individual column names, right? If df of features, that means df of individual column name. Individual column name will be written here. First of all, age dot data type, it will check that data type of age is not equal to object. Not equal to object means it is a numeric, and if it is satisfying this condition, at only that time you have to append that column name into this numerical feature empty list. So after this numerical data set appended in the numerical feature variable list. Similarly, For the categorical values, if df of feature dot data type now is equal to object, then categorical features dot append that object, and this is the object completed. Now this is the advanced code. Okay, for tomorrow you can use all these types of techniques. Now this is simple graph, plot figure, fixed size, count block of x. Matplot? Yes. Now you may thinking that what is this percentage of inline? Okay, so look at here, a magical command that makes the plot generated by matplotlib shows in the Python shell are using not separate output. म्हणजे तुम्ही इथे जे काही कमांड लिहिणार आहात का, ती कमांड एक लाईन मध्ये नाही लिहिणार तुम्ही. कमांड तुमचे मल्टिपल लाईन्स मध्ये असेल. मे बी तुम्ही एका रो मध्ये तुमच्या साईज डिफाईन केलेली आहे, नंतर तुम्ही तुमचा डिफाईन डेटा केलेला आहे, किंवा त्याच्यानंतर तुम्ही एक्स इज इक्वल टू धिस, ते सर्व गोष्टी आपण याच्या आतमध्ये करत होतो, राईट, एका पॅरेंथिसिसच्या आतमध्ये. पण तुम्ही सेपरेटली न्यू लाईन इथे लिहू शकता. सिंपल. हा त्याचा ग्राफ आहे, किती लोक स्मोकर आहेत आणि किती लोक नॉन स्मोकर. मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल आर नॉन स्मोकर. and this is the graph of region. Simple. And like that way you have to do the analysis of your individual columns, all the columns. Okay, तुम्हाला हा कोड कंप्लीट करायचा आहे. ठीक आहे, तुमच्याकडे कोड अवेलेबल आहे. हा, now after this, today we are going to start our next topic, and that topic is going to be your databases. Okay, okay, now we are going to learn databases. Now first of all, tell me, you are enrolled for which course, data science or data analysis? Data science, everyone? Okay, then your journey is going to be a little bit long compared to data analyst. Why? You are going to learn the two types of databases. First of all, why we need databases? Why we need databases? Anyone? कशासाठी हे डेटाबेसेस यूज करायचे आहेत? कनेक्शन कशाचे? ओके, तर ते तर कनेक्शन मी माझ्या लॅपटॉप मधून पण देऊ शकतो. डेटाबेसेस का? Okay, now first of all I will tell you that why we need databases. Now here simply I am going to show you the simple architect of any project. Okay, you are now, after some time, you are going to be a data scientist. Okay, so what you have to do whenever you have to work on any project? Okay, whenever you have to work on any project, you have to work on, let us say, large number of data, right? Large number of data. Now look at here, let us say that this is your laptop. Okay, now let us say this is your personal laptop. This is your personal laptop. Now, whenever tomorrow you are going to join any company, there they may provide you this physical laptop. Physical laptop. Now, whenever you have to work on any specific project, at that time you are not going to do any installations inside your this physical computer or otherwise physical laptop. You have to first of all join on any server, online server. Let us say that is a AWS server or Azure server. Now, what are these servers? What are these servers? Now, these servers having first of all high configuration. High configuration means they may have the 500 of GB of RAM. What? 500 GBs of RAM depends on your project. Let us say that there will be 5 TB of storage. Why you need this high configuration? Because you are going to work on a lot of big number size of data. Otherwise, let us say that on a big data. Okay. So at that time, your processor should be high configuration, right? Because you have the different types of pipelines. Pipelines means you have the pipelines of data where from which source data is coming. So that way, what you are going to do, you are going to just log in on these servers. Now let us say this is your Chrome, okay, and inside the Chrome you are going to open your server, virtual server. Now, virtual server means this server is actually not in physical way. This actually server available in a physical way. Let us say it is physically available in the California. Okay, at that California they have their warehouses, huge number of RAM, ROM, right? But that RAM and ROM you are using by physically way. By physical way means by using your user ID and password. They are assigning you whatever requirement you are having for your company. They are going to buy all these servers, high configuration servers. Okay. And whenever you will open this server, okay. Now this server is simply having your my computer, your everything, Chrome, all this thing here, whatever your software having. Okay. So at this position, you are going to write your codes because this is not going to shut down at any time. This will be working 24 by 7 because your program should work on 24 by 7 because it is the need of a market. Let us say you are working for any specific website. So that website is going to be shut down at any time. It will be available for 24 hours, right? And that's why you have to write down all these codes here. And another reason that you need a huge configuration, and that's why it is provided by different servers. Okay, and this is nothing but your server for the your project. Now, next point. Now you know what is server. Okay. Now here you have to do the lots of installation. Installation. Now which types of installation? That installations whichever required for your project, and that installation is known as the environment. Environment means whatever requirement you have, that requirements will be installed at this location, otherwise inside this computer, right? Because that environment should be suitable for your project. I given you one example. Why airport is the suitable for the flights? Why airport is the suitable for the flights? Not for not why not for train? Because there is having different types of land whichever required by different types of road. There is a runway, there is the offices like here, there is the check-in counter, check-out counter, your luggage area. All these things are available at this environment of airport. That's why fly any flight can come and go from here, right? This is, imagine that this is your one project and this is your environment. Similarly, like that way, now you are a data scientist. What we need for our environment? First of all, we need lots of libraries, because that is our main tool. Now we have learned only few libraries whichever required as of now still, but on tomorrow you may need different types of libraries. But tell me, we are going to work on the mathematical library. Should we import chemistry library there? No. So that is our environment. There we will import only NumPy, not ChemPy, right? This is required, this is not required. That's why this is we are going to import. Okay. Now this is your basically server. Okay. Now this is server. That means this is virtual server for your, let us say, for the configuration, high configuration. This is your server, and inside this server you have installed your environment. Okay. After some time, whenever we are going to do the project of a data science, we are going to create our own environment for that. Okay. I will teach you how to create environments in a VS Code. Okay. Now, after this, you know the basic concept of virtual server, and these servers are provided by the Amazon Azure AWS server, web servers. Okay. Now this is basically going to be your server. Now, first of all, look at here. These are the specifications of your server. Okay. 25 GB, 2 months. Okay. Like that way, they have the servers. Now, let me tell you one more point that is regarding to server. Now let us say that you have written your all these codes for your project. Okay, all this project. Now today not I am not going to discuss that much more topic of your project pipeline, but I will in short tell you regarding to what is this project and what is this codes, and these codes after getting created, otherwise let us say that you have successfully created your model, so you have to deploy that model. Deploy means that model is going to be on finalized, and that model will be going to start to do their work. Now what is meaning of this? You are going to deploy this model on these servers. On these servers you are going to deploy this model, and let us say you have created one model. Now let us say this is your model, this is your already created model and deployed model. Now after deployment, what will happen? New data will come. Okay, let us say that new student in class comes and he tells that his weight is 75 kg, and whenever that data will be passed to this model will automatically show you the output that you have the height of 7.5 feet. This is now seamless. Now this is now seamless experience. You don't need any human here now. Now this project is completely automated. This is AI model, simple AI model. Now completed. Now this project is completed after deployment. Your last process is the deployment. Deployment process means project khatam. Okay, but there is lot of works before this deployment. Okay, let me tell you in short that there is a, first of all you have to do the data ingestion, not injection. Data ingestion. Ingestion means you have to pull your data. Okay, now I will tell you where from you have to pull this data. Okay, data ingestion part, because this is going to be your first part, because your main tool is data. You can't do anything without data. That's why data ingestion is your first process. After this data ingestion, now you have successfully imported this data. Now whatever techniques we have learned till now for the data ingestion, we simply imported data from our pandas file from local, otherwise from a GitHub. Okay, but on tomorrow we are not going to do this like local and GitHub. That's why we are going to learn databases. Okay, I will let you know after some time how we are going to import this data. There is a one step before of this data ingestion. Okay, but that we will discuss in further time after let us say 5 to 10 minutes later. Now data ingestion is completed. Next, what you have to do as a data scientist after data ingestion, you have to start first of all to explore data. Explore data means we have to check that shape of data. What is the shape of data? What are the rows in this data? What are the columns? Now if there are the columns, then you have to check that individual columns. Let us say that you have to do one model of you have to predict insurance price. So you are going to correlate all your columns with your insurance premium price. Okay, now this process is known as EDA. This process is known as EDA, and you can write down all these points whenever you have to discuss regarding to any project that what you are going to do. So first of all, data ingestion is completed. After data ingestion, we started data. We started the exploration of data. We explored data. Then we get to know that what is the shape of data. Remember that whenever you are going to tell all these things to your interviewer, whenever you are going to tell all these things to interviewer, uh, remember that he is going to impress by listening all these things whatever you are telling for this. Now this is the your pipeline. This is your pipeline of a project. Okay, pipeline. Now what you are doing going to do in EDA is the very important process. Model building is not that much important, because you are going to do lot of work in the EDA process. Now let us say that there is a project of 6 to 7 months, but your EDA process will take at least more than 3 months, because here is your unclean data, dirty data is here, and that's why we are going to check first of all shape of your data. Then you are going to fill your nan values. Then you are going to clean all this data. Okay, after cleaning of all this data, remember that you have to tell all this point to your interviewer. Otherwise whenever I am going to take any interview, you have to explain this process, because it is a very important process. They are mainly dependent on your project, what type of project you worked on, and these are the important techniques which are going to help you to crack your interviews. Remember that whenever you are going to tell all these things to your interviewer, this is going to be a very important process of your project, right? Now you have to explain that we started the first of all exploration of data. Then we check the size of data. There we get to that there was the 150 columns and 234 rows. Then we filled our nan values. Now they may ask you how you filled this nan values. You may tell them that We fill the numerical values with the help of mean, and categorical values with the mode. Mode means most frequent. We are going to learn all this topic in the class of stats. Don't worry. And then we clean our data. Okay. Now your EDA is still going on. After this, you start to do the visualization. Visualization of univariate analysis. Now, what is this univariate analysis? Write down that. Univariate means single column analysis. That means, let us say that we have the column of age. You are going to mainly create visualizations for your column of age only. That is the univariate analysis. And after this, we did the bivariate analysis. Bivariate means two columns. Let us say that you have checked the column of age with the your price of insurance. Price of insurance, and this is the bivariate analysis. So all these types of we do the visualizations. Then we find out some insights, right? Then you are going to know that there are the non-smoker people having maximum count, right? So all these things you have to explain to your interviewer. Imagine that whenever he is going to ask you question, can you please explain me your project? Otherwise, can you explain your pipeline? So you have to cover your maximum time of your explanation of your project. Remember that if you are going to take more time to explain your project, he is first of all getting to know all details of your project, and then he is not going to ask you that much more questions because the time is also limited, right? So these are the techniques. These are the techniques to play with your interviewer, right? Now we found some insights. Look at here. All these points are coming in the process of a EDA, exploratory data analysis. Now this you told them that okay, and then you can tell whatever problems you find out here. Find out here. Okay. Now still your EDA now completed. Now there is a next process after EDA, that is FE, feature selection, feature engineering, otherwise feature selection. Now what is feature? Feature means your columns. Now after doing this EDA, we find out that there are few columns whichever are not required. So we simply remove, otherwise dropped that columns. Now why you dropped these columns? Because we first of all did the visualizations of bivariate and univariate analysis. Then we get to know that there are few columns whichever is not required and they are not going to affect on our model. That's why we removed all these columns. You have to explain all this thing in a detailed way, right? Why you are dropping this data? Now FE completed. FE means feature engineering. Now after the FE, that means now your data is completely cleaned. Now this is going to be your final data. This is going to be your final data for your model of machine learning, otherwise your model, otherwise your data for the visualizations of Power BI. Okay, now FE is completed. Now we have cleaned our data totally. Now after this, you are going to start to build your model for the data science. Model building started. Model building started. Now let us say that you have created one model. Okay, you have created one model. Now you have to showcase this model to your client. Look at here, we have created this model. Now this client is going to do little bit changes in this model. Let us say that he is going to change his priority, whatever he may say. Okay, then after this client changes, what you are going to do, you are going to do that changes from your model, and this is known as validation. Validation means we are first of all checking with our clients, otherwise our managers, that should we fix this model or we need to do some changes in this model. Then he is going to tell you that okay, do these types of changes and then finalize your model. Then this model validation is completed. Okay, then you are going to finalize your model, validation of your model. Then last process is you are going to deploy that project. Complete, your project is completed. But from all this process, look at here the process. Remember that you have to make the notes for to prepare your interviews like this way, in a proper manner way. Okay, now here is remaining one thing, that whichever we are going to learn, and that is the database. Now data ingestion is happen with the different types of servers. Now this is, let us say that, SQL server. Okay, here lot of data is stored of a bank. Let us say there is a one bank. Now the bank having one their platform, otherwise they have websites. So people are going to come on this website and fill their information, otherwise say they are going to apply for a loan. Now this data is going to store in these servers directly. Okay, and you are going to fetch this data, that is your data ingestion process, and you have to work on this data, having the size of huge number of size of data is available here, and you have to first of all import this data. Now who are going to do all this work of data ingestion? Now this is the work of who is going to responsible for this server. Now there is a one person inside from your team, otherwise also from your client side. Now this is your client side data, right? This is your client side data. Now this work is done by DBA, database administrative. Now that database administrative is going to give you all the requirement, all the fetching, and all the requirement, whatever things you have to import this data to your virtual server, where you are going to do your codes. Otherwise, wherever you are going to write down your codes, let us say you are writing your code in a Jupyter notebook. Okay, but that not you are going to do. You are going to mainly write down your projects in a VS Code and otherwise whatever PyCharm applications, IDE, different types of IDE. Now this database administrative is going to give you all the requirement things, and whatever the user ID, whatever the password, all the security is handled by this DBA. But you should know the basic things of this servers, how to import data. Okay, because after this pipeline, now this is the pipeline that DBA is going to give you the pipeline of this. Now you should know how to import that into your VS Code. Otherwise, wherever you are going to write down your codes, right? That means, let us say that there is a, now these are the different tables in your server. Okay, tables means your bank is having different types of platforms. There is the platform for the loan. Now there is the platform for the insurance. Now there is the platform for the mutual funds. for the FD. So there are the different types of data available. So tell me, you are going to import all this data? Whenever you have to work on loan project, then only you are going to import on this data, right? So you should know how to fetch this data. That's why we are going to learn this servers. Okay. Now you have the idea why we need server. Now virtual server and data server is different. Virtual server is means for your configuration, high configuration, and this server for store your data. Now server, still we are at the server, right? Server, otherwise data server. Now there are the two types of server. Okay, there are the two types of server. First of all is SQL type of server, and there is the another is no SQL. This is also known as SQL and SQL, whatever you can say. And there is no SQL and no SQL. Now, what is the difference between them? First difference, SQL is used for the structured query language. Now, structured means here your data size and your data shape is fixed. Now, structured data means you are having the data in structure format in the rows and the columns. Simple. That's why you are going to use SQL server. And what is NoSQL? Now, in the SQL, remember that in the SQL, there is not only NoSQL data, there is also you can store your SQL type of data here. Now, what is this NoSQL? NoSQL means your images, audios, videos, all types of data you are going to store in NoSQL. Okay, so that techniques we have to learn how to add data in this server, how to create these servers, how to create these servers, how to add data in these servers, how to fetch data set from all these servers. Okay, that part we have to learn. Okay, so first of all, if we are going to write on Google that SQL servers, now let us see that who are going to provide server providers. Company SQL, okay, I will briefly tell you that SQL versus NoSQL uh, providers. Mm, mm, okay, look at here. I want this diagram. Okay, okay. Now SQL having PostgreSQL, SQL Server, and MySQL. These are going to provide you the SQL, and for the NoSQL, Cassandra, and MongoDB is mainly famous for the NoSQL and Redis. Okay, so these companies are going to provide you the this platform. Okay, so now we are going to start the learning of SQL. Okay, to learn this SQL, we have to first of all do the little bit installations. Okay, so that we are going to first of all import our that model, no, that software, first of all MySQL. Okay, simply we are going to write down MySQL. Okay, MySQL. Now here this website is for MySQL. Okay, now after this click on this website. Here here we have to go in the section of download. Okay, we have to go in the section of a download. Remember that this is not going to mainly your work, but you should know the basic queries, how to fetch data set, because you are a data scientist. Okay, so you have to not depend on any person at any time, right? Now here inside the download section we have to go this MySQL community downloads. Okay, MySQL community download, and then mm, from here MySQL installer for Windows. Okay, from here you have to install this second one, MySQL MSI installer. Okay, so download this one. Don't need to sign in as of now. No thanks. Just start my download. Do it. Okay. Now download is completed. Okay. Simply install it. Double click on it. Okay. Now click on S. Remember that here we are going to define one password for our SQL server. Okay. Remember that. Never you have to forget this password. You have to write down all this password, whatever you want where. But if you are going to forget this password, that is going to too much hectic for you. Okay, now here we have to start to use custom. Okay, now this class is going to be recorded. If you are going to face an issue, you can watch this lecture. Now inside the custom you have to go for this MySQL server. Click on here, and simply you have to click here and click at here. Okay, just click on it. Go ahead inside this. Yes, click at this final and click on this arrow. Yes. Hmm. 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 याच्यावरती क्लिक करा. लिंक नाही, याच्यावरती क्लिक करा नंतर. Okay. Now, similarly for the application. Now, from this application, let me see first of all that what we have to do. Mm, 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 Custom application. Okay. From that application, MySQL workbench. We are going to click on this workbench. Workbench. Simply this. Click here. Similarly for MySQL shell. Okay, MySQL shell here. Now after this, I think documentation. Okay, now we have to import this shell only. Okay, ऍप्लिकेशन मधले हे पहिले जे आहे वर्कबेंच ते करा. त्यानंतर शेल त्याच्या आतमध्ये जात जा आणि लास्टला जे येईल त्याला फक्त इकडे क्लिक करा एरो मध्ये. इथे बघा समोर. याच्यावरती क्लिक करा. याच्यावरती क्लिक करा आत जे येईल ते. मग याच्यावरती क्लिक करा आणि इकडे फक्त आतमध्ये घ्या. ओके, नाव इन्स्टॉल. शेल. हा शेल. हा लेट मी चेक दॅट राउटर. Okay, we can import this router also if we want. Completed. Okay, next execute. Now it is going to take few time. Yes. VS Code. काय VS Code इन्स्टॉल करा म्हणत आहे का? क्लिक कर तिथे काय येतं ते. हम्म. इन्स्टॉल. नाही तिथं खाली खाली मिडल मध्ये. हा नेक्स्ट एक्झिक्यूट. इथेपर्यंत आला आहात का तुम्ही? Okay, now look at here. After this, simply click on next. Next. Now don't do anything, simply click on next. Next. Now look at here. Now it is going to ask you password. हा पासवर्ड तुम्ही पहिल्यांदा लिहून ठेवा. ओके, हा पासवर्ड तुम्हाला इथे जो लिहायचा आहे सिंपल पासवर्ड ठेवा. कारण का उद्या जर तुम्ही पासवर्ड विसरलात तर तुम्हाला हे एसक्यूएल उघडता येणार नाही लवकर. खूप अवघड प्रोसिजर आहे त्याची फॉरवर्ड करायची नंतर. ओके, तर पासवर्ड तुम्ही काही लिहू शकता तिथे. Okay, you can write down your this password. Next. Next. Just next. Execute. इन्स्टॉलेशन झाले नाही अजून? Okay, finish. Next. Now finish. Next. Finish. Now look at here. Welcome to my SQL workbench. Now this is going to be your where we are to work. Now whenever I'm going to click on here, it is going to ask me a password. Okay, that password whichever we have created. Save password. And we have successfully jumped in the SQL workbench. Here we are going to write down our queries. Okay, here we are going to write down our queries. Now check out your server status. Now it is running. Okay, status server is currently running. This should be in a currently running mode. Okay, remember that. And all this part we are going to discuss on tomorrow's class. Okay, here we will start to write down queries. Okay, I hope that there will be not any issue till here. Simple procedure. Just next, 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 and remember your password. Just install it. Okay, otherwise you can watch our recorded session if you face any problem. Host name? No, don't write down anything.